Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 99 of the Xbox Call Gamers podcast. This week, I'm joined by Char.
Hi.
And our good buddy Jake.
Hello.
This week, we've got a little bit of news, a couple of games. I mean, look, if you listen to the fight, we're nearly 100 episodes in. If you don't understand how the format of the show works by now, what are you doing? As always, we're doing the show live on Twitch. Come say hi. Xbox Caller Gamers is the place to find us. We've got people in the chat here. We've got Left for Legacy in here. We've got Jake. Jake decided to join the chat as well, which is very nice of him. I'm in there. We've got Shane. Hopefully a few other people show up. We are doing the show at a little bit of a different time than usual, so we'll see how it goes. But very, very excited to get into things. Let's get straight into our community question. So Isaac, our question asker extraordinaire, has basically rolled back several years of therapy for me by asking this. And it says, hey guys, what are some achievements in your backlog that you would like to get to, but realistically probably never will? I will get back to them one day. For me, the one that's been on my mind lately is the Bladder of Steel award from Rock Band 2. I'd like to get some friends together and push it through it for 6 hours, but I don't think we'll ever have the time. Plus, it's hard to convince a bunch of adults in 2023 to play a music game from 2008. Thanks for the show. Thank you for the question, Isaac. Yeah, I mean, look, we've all got backlogs. Most of our community complains about their backlog all the time. You know, we did our Gone with Gold event to try and get some people through some of their old games that they picked up for free back a couple months ago. What are you guys' thoughts? So you guys have anything that kind of springs to mind immediately? I've got my TA list up here of just everything where I'm like 99% complete on something. But yeah. Jake, what about you? Would you want to go first?
Sure. So, okay, I guess question. Are we just limiting this to games we can complete?
Well, look, there's stuff that's like unobtainables and discontinues and stuff that's just kind of like unfortunate, right?
Yes.
That's not our fault, right? That's just kind of that's kind of shit happen. Like I've got like Indivisible on here or whatever because that fucking DLC is not finishable and all that kind of shit. But I think we're more talking about stuff that you're like, no, this is like hashtag skill issue. Like this is.
What about hashtag time issue?
No,
that's most of mine. I feel
sure,
like.
yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, actually, in the little pre-show, hashtag go sign up for the Patreon to listen. I have an Xbox group called the Cone of Shame where I put all of these games in there. Things that come to mind are like 82, Sea of Thieves, Elder Scrolls Online, Perfect Dark, not because like it's a skill or time issue, just because I hate that game. It's like one of the only games that actually ever
Mike still gives me a hard time for that one.
Hate it. I can't bring myself to play because it's just not fun, even a little bit. Probably Splinter Cell Double Agent fits that bill. Just because the grinding for the multiplayer is also unfun. Monster Hunter World is another one where I say, no, I'll finish it one day. And I still try. I play it from time to time. Occasionally I go on little stunts of it. God, yeah, the list can go on and on. Back for Blood on there. Any Gears of War, Master Chief Collection. The thing that's messed up about the Master Chief Collection, though, is I have all the speedruns done. I have all the lassos done. It's just grinding. Like just finishing the group.
Oh, come on, you can do that
stuff. I know I'm probably legitimately. I think what's holding me back is the little like episodic mode or whatever from Halo 4.
Oh yeah, Spartan Ops.
Spartan Ops, yeah, because you have to beat all those on Legendary solo, and they're not hard because they're infinite spawn. You just like slog through them eventually. So I'm probably 30 hours away from the Master Chief Collection completion. And I just don't.
I get it. I actually do.
Yeah.
Master Chief Collection is one of the ones that I have not started. Cameron gives me shit about that all the time. And anytime I'm like, hey, I need a new game to play, he will suggest the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, but we didn't.
I have considered actually
charity.
starting it multiple times, but every time I look at that list, I'm just like, oh man, like this would be my life for like.
It's
6
intimidating.
months.
You just gotta chunk it out. Like I just did my speedruns first, and then I did my lassos, and from there it's really just like chunking it out to update at a time. So you just go through like each of the little content updates they did, and then by the time like next thing, that's kind of what I did. Then the next thing I knew, all I had left was Spartan Ops in like 2000 jackal kills and stuff like that.
Got to eat the elephant piece by piece, right?
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
So that's I mean I could probably go on and on, but those are ones that stick out right away to games that are on my Cone of Shame list.
For sure. Char, what about you?
Oh, like I have just been looking at my list. Well, top of the list is probably Night in the Woods.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
100% a skill issue, but also I can't, like, I haven't bought it, so. And
yeah, well, not, like Night in the Woods, like it's deceptively well. Okay, like
it's
when
the
you look at the
rhythm
game,
bits. The rest,
it's the rhythm
fine.
bit. The rhythm bits are really fucking hard. Like,
Yeah.
the way I got through the rhythm bits was that I got help with it, where I was like, okay, you hold this, you're in charge of these two buttons on the controller, and I'm in charge of these two buttons on the controller, and we just have to watch two sides of the screen to basically make sure we don't fuck it up.
I was real
too
mad
badly.
about that.
It was yeah, like it's actual bullshit.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Mortal Kombat 11, I probably just won't for purely the tutorial shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not quick enough.
Yeah, I've got a fighting game one like that as well on my list.
Anytime I started fighting a game, I have to like heavily research how easy a fighting game actually can be. Like Soul Calibur 5, I wanted to do before, like they had the server closure scare. So I booted it up to get it done. But I was like, am I gonna be able to actually finish this game? Like, I'm not good at fighters.
Yeah.
But I ended up doing that, like beat the classic campaign on like ultra hard or whatever.
That's the hardest one. Yeah, well, that's one of the hardest ones. If you can do that, then you can do the rest of it.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel you on fighting games.
Yeah. I think the only other one is probably Outlast.
Oh yeah, fuck, that's on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like just looking at my TA list of like, hey, what have I got that's 99% complete? And so of course top of the list is Forza Horizon 5. Obviously the Eliminator is the eternal albatross around my neck. I just every few days I throw a few hours into it, but I still haven't made any progress.
You've gotten close though.
I've definitely gotten to like top 3, but yeah, I've still never got that victory royale, unfortunately.
Yeah, Forza Horizon 4 is I haven't started 5 yet, but 4 is same boat for me. And we were talking about that literally the other day. How it's like I have the hardest stuff of Eliminator for done. I have the win without ever clicking a drop, and I have the win with or get to the final without ever upgrading your car. I have those, so I just have to really just play and grind it out. I just have no desire to play Eliminator, not even a little bit.
No, like I mean, like I'm not a big multiplayer guy, as probably most people will know. So, and I played Forza Horizon 5 for the kids. So that's
You were cut and done to it.
I was press gang to do it.
Yeah.
Gears of War 3 is the other one that shows up, obviously, because CFC 3.0 is just insane. You want to talk about grinds? I mean, I'd rather do Master Chief Collection at this point, because at least there's like there's a bit more to that.
More meat.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of like small interesting ones. Vanquish, the last achievement for that, I've had sitting there for several years now.
Are you aware of the exploit?
Yes, and I'm still bad enough. Like it's been, I used the exploit, and I was going back, and I was like, I'm still bad enough at this game that it doesn't actually help me that much.
Oh.
But I'm sure if I go back and played it for a bit, I'd probably be okay. Yeah, Legacy points out Wolfenstein 2, Mein Leben. I have a lot of achievements left in Wolfenstein 2 because of that one, where I was like, fuck this. Like I did one playthrough. I got all the story stuff done, and my collectibles achievement glitched on me, so I'd have to start again anyway. And so I've just been like, this is just not worth the hassle. One day I will go back to it, but it's just really hard it's really hard knowing that that's there, that it's basically non-completable for me ever. I got Diablo 3. I need to grind out 5 million gold. And then there's the ones that everyone gives me shit for: Bioshock Infinite, the Clash of the Clouds DLC, and what was the other one? Dishonored, of course, the Dunwall City Trials. Those ones, and then my fighting game one is Dead or Alive 5. I just had to do the training mode finish the training mode with a single character, and that's all I have left to do. And I just I'm not good enough for fighting games to do it, which is really embarrassing because I went and bought because I'm playing through the free version of it, but you can buy additional characters because they cycle. And I went and bought like the easiest character to do it with, and I still can't do it. So I'm like, well, fuck. Maybe one of these days. Yeah, I'm just like looking through this list. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid. I've got to finish up 2. I've got a couple of achievements left. Unravel, Gunslinger, Call of Juarez Gunslinger.
On the topic of fighting games, that like I really want to play Injustice.
Yeah,
but I just like can't bring myself to looking at those last 2 achievements. I'm just like, oh my god, I want to play this game so bad, but like I will never get those done.
Yeah, and Char, you're talking about Outlast. Yeah, that was one that I was like, I actually re-downloaded because I was like, oh yeah, it's the scary season. Let's play Outlast, and then I played like 20 minutes of it, and I died, and I was like,
yeah.
Oh boy, I don't know if I have this in me anymore. This is just you have to know that game so well to get through the insane mode with not using any batteries.
You really just have to become like a pseudo speedrunner with like a
basically respectable
time. Like it's nuts.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd even do it, to be honest. I don't remember like half of the game.
Something I think about a lot is some achievements that are like such a pain in the ass, where it's just like, you know, I could just keep bashing my head against this wall. Or I could just learn the speedrun route.
Yeah.
Like, I could just become a speedrunner for just the purpose of beating this game in an hour and make my repetitions fast and stuff like that. Like, not even just Atlas aside. There's so many other games where I've thought, like, beat this on, like, Mein Leben, I think about sometimes, where it's like, I'm sure there's tricks that runners use. So it's like, if you just learned the Mein Leben, like, the Wolfenstein speedrun kind of difficulty by difficulty, I wonder how much more approachable Mein Leben could become if you just learn the game inside and out.
Yeah, I have exactly the same thought. Like I recently I played through the new Dead Space, and fucking fantastic. But it reminded me that I have Dead Space 2 sitting here with the hard to the core achievement for finishing hardcore, where you only get 3 saves for the entire game. I have never made it to the first save point in that game. But like the first recommended save point in like chapter 7, I think, or chapter 9, somewhere around there. Yeah, I think I've made it to like chapter 5, and then like you die, you go right back to the beginning, and it's like I got to sit through all the cutscene, I got to sit through all the tutorial, and I'm like, I might as well just fucking speedrun this shit. I mean, I literally did use a speedrunner strat this week actually for the new Amnesia the Bunker update, which is like, hey, finish the game on custom difficulty, finish it on shell shock, and it's like, wow, cool. So I'm going to start the game, and I'm going to use a box here to jump through the map. And walk to the end of the thing, and then jump on a shovel and jump and walk forward at the same time to basically fly my way across the map to the exit and finish the game in 5 minutes. So those are the 2 of the easiest achievements I got this week. So yeah, like if I could find shit like that, that'd be great. But unfortunately, it doesn't work for Outlast. It seems like the only way to kind of speedrun glitch stuff is to there's apparently some trick where you can like basically just keep crouching in front of enemies and they won't hurt you, but you got to be like fucking hammering that shit. So we'll see.
Yeah, there's a few wall clips for Outlast 2 you can do that aren't too terribly difficult.
So having talked about this question, actually, I've been thinking about potentially doing like a big episode, kind of deep diving into some of this stuff, into our cones of shame, to kind of think about why we've got them there, what kind of the difficulty parts are, and you know, how much of it is psychological, how much of it is a skill issue, how much of it is time. That might be interesting for our Patreon. For our patrons, we're gonna probably do some end of the year content, so we might do some pre-recorded stuff to check out.
I will say real quick, pro tip to all gamers out there: if you're stuck on a boss, the first thing I always do is check the boss's speedrun strat every time, every single time.
Cool.
I don't go look for some guide on YouTube. I just go to the speedrun.com and look at see what they do. And if it's not like some insane glitch, it's just a strat. 100% like works every time.
Cool.
Fuck, that's a good idea. Okay, I need to think about that.
What does the speedrun do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What would speedrunners do? Any more greatest hits from you guys? No.
The rest I can pretty much do. It's just time.
Yeah, that's fair.
Time's my only thing. Like there's not a lot of this on here that's like difficulty locked for me. I'm pretty good at games. I know that. I'll be real. But there's just just so many things I just don't want to spend the
I
time
did
on.
just find another
Like,
one that's difficulty locked for me. The Messenger.
Which one? Messenger? Oh, yeah, Messenger's fucking hard. That is a hard game.
Yeah, because I've always said that there's like probably 3 or 4 that I just won't go back to or ever complete. The Messenger's
Yeah.
one of them.
I
Messenger,
love
Night in
that
the
game.
Woods, Outlast, and
The initial the initial thousand
Oh.
of Messenger was really like, for the most part. I mean, it was definitely difficult, but I was really pretty achievable. But some of the stuff in the DLC just made me want to throw my
Yeah.
controller.
I remember. So what's the what's the tricky one?
It's
I guess
the
what's
It's a
it's
speed
the
run.
race the
The
speed run
race,
race
yeah.
against your clone, and you have to get through. You have to win 5 out of 5 races, because to finish the game, you only have to beat him,
and you
like,
can't
get,
make
like,
any mistakes.
yeah, you basically only, I think it's like right at the end, and you only have to beat him like 3 out of 5 times to actually continue.
Yeah.
But for the achievement, you need to beat 5 out of 5, so it has a lot. Like, you'd be really fucking fast. And yeah, that nearly broke me.
You were on
But
tilt.
and the only reason I finished it was because it was leaving Game Pass, and I had to finish it. So hey,
love that game.
that's a great fucking, yeah. I love that game. It's so cool. And actually, Sea of Stars is incredible. That the next game that they did. All right. Well, let's move on to some of the news. It'll be mostly quick hits this time, I think. But we had the Xbox Partner Preview showcase come out a couple of days ago. And so I just want to just run through quickly the news. I don't want to turn this into a Cameron List episode, but there was a new trailer for Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth with a thing called Dondoko Island, which apparently is like a little, like, in the same way that most of these what do you call it? Yakuza games have like a side modes, like management modes and stuff. This one apparently is just Animal Crossing. They just put Animal Crossing in Yakuza. They were like, hey, people love Animal Crossing. Let's just make this a thing. I don't know. You guys played any Yakuza games? I know, Char, you probably haven't.
They're on my list. I haven't played them yet, though.
Like a Dragon, apparently quite good.
I have officially started 0. I dived it.
Right.
So it's on my tag. But no. They are also a high ticket on the list item is to get through the Yakuzas.
For sure. Yeah, Shane points out that they are a lot. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a high skill ceiling. There's a lot of time involved. You've got to be good at a lot of different kinds of games. Yeah, there's a lot involved. I mean, but even just the rhythm stuff is just annoying enough. Power Wash Simulator dev is coming out with a game called Hikaru Will Not Die, which is apparently like an action adventure roguelike. Chinese Room for the guys who. Sorry, yep.
I was just gonna say, I think I heard something about that.
Yeah, apparently it's like a spiritual successor to a previous series called Velocity that they did. So they've gone back to the well now after the huge success of Power Wash Simulator. They're like, all the things we've learned from this game, we're going to put into our roguelike. So that'll be interesting. Chinese Room talked about Still Wakes the Deep, and Chinese Room are the ones who did Amnesia, Machine for Pigs, and some of that sort of stuff. So they're kind of like first-person horror, it's a narrative-driven first-person horror game. So that looks quite interesting. There's a new RoboCop game coming out, which looks fucking bad, but I kind of want to play it. Maybe I'll use that for my milestone. Actually, that'd be quite good. There's a game called Dungeons of Hinterberg, which we don't really know too much about. Spirit of the North 2 apparently is coming out. We got to see our first sort of like in-engine footage of the MGS3 remake, Delta, which looks really, really good. I think MGS3 is probably my favorite Metal Gear. I mean, Jake, you played every Metal Gear Solid ever made, right?
Yes, I played them all.
All right, which one's your favorite?
Interesting question. So my favorite, I have 3 favorites. I'll split them into 3.
Sure.
Metal Gear Solid 4 is my favorite story cinematic Metal Gear Solid.
Sure.
Playing that for the story. 5 is my favorite for gameplay. And Peace Walker is my favorite. I guess you could probably call my overall favorite because it's my favorite where I think it does both well. Like
Gotcha.
I think 5 does gameplay better than Peace Walker, and I
Sure.
think 4 does story better than Peace Walker. But I think Peace Walker does story and gameplay in a very good and balanced way that's like enjoyable on both aspects.
I never played Peace Walker. Like for some reason, it just never like I'm pretty sure I have it as part of the HD collection. But I've never played it for some reason. Just
so good, such a good game.
I definitely need some like a synopsis for 5 to understand what the fuck was going on because it's so Peace Walker dependent.
Because Peace Walker goes right into 5 is the story, and then Peace Walker was also like almost like a proof of concept for 5, like the whole base building thing and going into your side ops and extracting people to recruit and train and R&D and a lot of replayability with like trying to get the S ranks on the missions and tons of missions and just fun crossovers in it. They have Monster Hunter missions. You have to kill a Rakdos in one of the side ops.
That's pretty cool, actually.
So it's great. Peace Walker is a fantastic game. I think it's very slept on for sure. I don't blame people for sleeping on it. It was a PSP title, originally, and then now the only way to play it in the modern age is you have to have the Metal Gear Solid collection, the HD collection.
Yeah, it's been a while. Are you gonna pick up the Delta Snake Eater when it comes out?
Absolutely. Oh, no questions. Yeah, I'm a huge Metal Gear Solid fan. Love it. I really want my Metal Gear Solid dream is a Metal Gear Solid 3 style remake, like give the attention they did to Metal Gear Solid 3 for Metal Gear 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked. I feel like I thought.
I think we did last time. Yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense. I mean, there's a lot to pull from there, and also now that people have played 5, the ending of 1 now makes sense. And if you don't understand that, there is like a 5-hour video that you can watch that will explain the entire lore of Metal Gear Solid to you. We've also got Manor Lords apparently is coming to Game Pass in April next year when it gets released. It's a medieval city builder. The Finals is apparently going to have an open beta, which is that interesting kind of Battlefield 3 inspired first-person shooter. Looks quite good, although I don't know. We'll say it has that like Levolution thing where like like destructible environments and all that kind of stuff. Not really my kind of stuff, but it will be free to play. I feel like it's a real curious thing to release a free-to-play game, like multiplayer free-to-play game these days. That's not I was gonna say not a battle royale, but even then, most of those shut down too. Like I'm gonna be keeping an eye on it to see kind of what happens with it because, it could go. I worry about those kinds of games these days. I don't know if there's much of a market for it anymore. I don't know. I mean,
Sorry, go.
I was saying, like, we saw what happened with Hyenas, right? They didn't even come out, and they canceled it.
I'm just always. I mean, anytime you explain a game to me, and I'm really into the concept, and it sounds like a cool concept, and then you go, and then it's free to play. I'm always like, okay, little expectations have been adjusted. Like, let's see. The free to play games can be great. I mean, some of the most popular games that people play, obviously, are free to play games. But like, I feel like amazing, stellar free to play games, which are the ones we like still see played today, are unicorns.
Yeah, and I feel like I feel like that having like free, the words free to play and games as a service come with some real baggage. Like some real rough connotations in terms of like level of quality, level of support, level of like bullshit microtransactions and fleecing. And yeah, like not every game can be, Fortnite Battle Royale or
Apex.
Apex or Warframe or that kind of stuff where it's like the free to play model kind of really worked out for them. For every one of those, you've got 10, Rumbleverse or fucking Hyperscape or whatever it was called. We see shutdowns left, right, and center for this kind of stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah. And it's not even shutdowns. Like, we see shutdowns based on obviously like not being successful, and then just low quality too.
Yeah,
always comes to mind a lot with with a lot of free to plays is just low quality.
Just real cash grabs, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I've seen some good stuff for the finals. It is going to be cross-platform apparently, so hopefully that helps it a lot. Especially with X-Defiant being delayed yet again. I think there's definitely a market for that kind of first-person shooter model. Now that kind of Battlefield kind of shit the bed, and haven't really had a good hit for quite a while. Be interested to see if this kind of takes off. We also saw Ark's new remake of the first game, Ark Survival Ascended, which has been delayed again. But yeah, I don't know.
I forgot about Vin Diesel.
Yeah, well, that's Ark 2 even, so that's not even this. So it's like, but yeah, it was so weird that he was in that game.
Totally forgot about all of that too. As soon as you said armor like Ark, I'm like, oh yeah, that game. How's that game doing?
And then Alan Wake 2, they showed up another trailer for it just before it came out, which I believe came out this week. So and the reviews are looking very, very good for it.
I've seen some photos; they look amazing.
Yeah, I'm picking it up straight away. So I don't know if I'll get a chance to play it, but we'll see.
I think Remedy is one of the few studios that's never missed. Like, I can't think of a single Remedy game that I've been like even middling on. Like, it was always good to great.
Yeah, I think the only one would be Quantum Break, right? And even then, that's a good game.
I was gonna say I think Quantum Break's a fantastic game.
I like Quantum Break. Like, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's anywhere near as strong as the stuff they did with Max Payne or with like Control.
Yeah, I would probably agree. It's probably their weakest game, and I don't think it was commercially super successful. But I thought Quantum Break was like a fantastic game.
I enjoyed it. Like, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I think it maybe suffers from it suffers a little bit from launch title fatigue in terms of like it came out like because it was like right when the Xbox came out, right? That was kind of
it was like 2015.
Was it really?
Fuck, yeah, I remember playing it in one of my college apartment. It might have been 2016. Late 2016.
Oh, it is 2016. Holy shit, man! I'm getting old.
Yeah, came out ways after.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Actually, then I remember when it was first announced, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna do like a whole TV series that changes based on the."
It was announced with the Xbox One.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
Because they were doing their whole TV thing, so they're like, "We're gonna make a game that integrates gaming in television."
Yep, and they're like, "Also, consoles are dead. The thing is a set-top box. Watch your NFL on it." And everyone was like, "We're not buying an Xbox One."
Yeah, so every now and again the meme video of the Xbox One announcement comes out where it's just somebody who clipped together all the times they said TV.
Yeah,
just TV, 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 TV. Super funny.
Oh man, I need to. Yeah, there's a really good like. Actually, I think Video Gamer removed all their videos and stuff, but they did like a snarky voiceover. They were kind of one of the first ones to do like snarky voiceover of a conference kind of thing. They started that trend of being like, all right, let's just like mute out all the audio and I'm just going to basically just snark over everything that we see as the things go. It's like that's 10 years ago now. That's ridiculous. So that's pretty much everything we saw at the Xbox partner preview. Lots of, again, I think they're trying to indicate that Xbox, do have third-party stuff that they work with and try to get on the platform, which is nice because a lot of the time we're only hearing about acquisitions and every game studio being like, yeah, we're working on something. Please wait. You're like, okay, double fine. Where's your next fucking game?
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see the quadruple A game. I want to see. Have they announced it?
No,
I don't even remember. No. Also, didn't they announce it at the Game Awards? A Perfect Dark game?
Oh yeah, that was actually yes. That was the initiative. I think it was.
That's what the initiative's working on. Isn't that supposed to be the quadruple A studio?
Apparently that was a misquote, but whatever, it's fine. I don't know.
Was it?
Apparently it was, but who knows how true that is. But apparently Crystal Dynamics are helping them with it, but apparently it's also like with the leaks that happened a few weeks ago, apparently it is not in a good state right now.
Fun.
Which is
unfortunate because I wanted to see what that studio did really bad. And
me too. Because they were like, hey, let's do the Sony Santa Monica thing and basically just hire a bunch of people in that area and steal a bunch of people and make a super studio.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like they're going to have the God of War success. All right, there's a little bit of Baldur's Gate 3 stuff here, Char.
Yes, there is.
I mean, there's not much, which is part of the
Not
problem.
much, yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? Because we were told in August that we're getting Baldur's Gate to Xbox.
Yeah.
So where is it? But
Wait, they're
Money
gonna shadow
Lebowski.
drop it?
Oh, could you imagine? Actually, that
Just
yeah.
shadow drop it? That'd be kind of hype. I'd be super sick. Or I think it'd be sick. Just like, yo, my Baldur's Gate appeared on the store this morning.
that would be pretty cool. Shadow drop.
Baldur's Gate appeared in Game Pass this morning would be a fucking story, right?
They wouldn't do that. Not when it's still $100 on Steam.
That's true. Well, to be fair, they in the leaked documents they were like, oh yeah, we could probably get Baldur's Gate for like $5 million. and now it's probably before it released, and now it's like
good luck.
Ooh, yeah, good luck. Game of the year.
Yeah.
Like I've been waiting for this all year. And my other flatmate has now got it. So there's 2 people out of 3 in our household that have now started playing Baldur's Gate, and I'm like, give it to me. Especially because it's just that's if I'm gonna buy it on one, I'm gonna buy it on the Xbox, not on PC. I don't want to have to pay for it twice.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't seem right. But the publisher, Valerian, has now said that it's still the plan before the end of the year. So it could still happen in November. It could happen in December. But
There's
not
a lot
likely.
of runway left.
We're at the end of October. I mean,
yeah, it's literally Halloween in a couple of days. Like they got November basically. Yeah. That's it.
But their reasons for delay
go ahead.
Are because of the issues with getting split screen running on the Series X. So
yeah.
Because they're dropping it, it should still get to us this year. Yeah.
But,
I think it'd be funny if they released it on December 31st.
Yeah,
it is this year.
Yeah.
Trust us.
Shane says, I'm sure Phil is calling them daily. Exactly. Like that was the thing, right? Where it was like, oh, this isn't coming to Xbox this year because it's because of the technical stuff around the Series S, like Charles said. But I imagine Phil jumped on a phone call when this was like, hell, this is like the best game of the year. And Phil was like, this game is coming out this year. We will throw whatever money, whatever you need to make sure this happens, because we are not doing a holiday. Yeah, we're not going through a holiday where PlayStation has the exclusive of essentially the best game this year.
Especially because there's so many spoilers out there now and memes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's been out there for long enough that I have friends who have now played through it 4 times. And gone back into character creation multiple times and just created characters for fun. Like,
oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Squidward meme. You're staring out the window watching SpongeBob and Patrick playing in the yard.
Exactly.
That's me.
Exactly.
And
that's
look,
me. Like it's that meme, except I'm surrounded by every fucking other game of the year contender that I have to play, and I'm just being like, oh man, it's real rough out there. Just not, just being like, it's got fucking Resident Evil 4 and Dead Space and fucking all these other ones looking over my shoulder, being like, you fucking serious? Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's a combination meme of the Squidward looking out the window and then also the we have video games at home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, video games at home. Yeah. Actually, some good video games, but yes, yeah. Oh man,
because that's probably going to be the only game this year that I will play that's a this year release. Actually, like I haven't played any of the other games. I was thinking about it the other day, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about for for Game of the Year award.
Well, you got to let's cram them in. I'll we'll do a Rocky montage. I'll have a list of games, and you just fucking smash through them.
Sounds good. Okay,
I hope you got 2 months of vacation saved up, Char, because you're not working for a while.
No, you're done. You're done. This is just.
I have no vacation days, so.
Oh no.
And I'm doing summer school uni. I'll find time.
Academia.
I'm done in December and I can't wait.
That is amazing.
Get me out.
Shane in the chat asked, didn't Xbox make a concession that split screen could come later, just so they could hurry up and get it out? Basically, they said that it wasn't going to have parity on the Series S, but Larian have also come out and said that they do intend to make it work at some stage, but they're prioritizing getting it out the door so people can play it, which I think is fair enough.
Well, I mean, it gives them a whole new stream, so they're going to want to do it.
Yeah.
It makes sense to do it. And if
you
get
launch
in
a game
holiday,
3 times, why not, right?
But also,
Yeah.
if they launch it right before holidays,
Yeah,
that kind of makes sense if you think about it.
I guess it depends, right? I mean, I get the feeling this one's going to come in pretty hot. But then again, it already has come out on the Xbox, on the PC and the PlayStation, so it's not like it's a
and it depends on how many of those people are either like waiting for the Xbox version or have just gone off and got it on Steam. Because I've been tempted. I have almost done it. Right?
If I didn't have other shit to play, I probably would have. But
yeah,
maybe they're strategically waiting until sales week. The week, the Black Friday week, because they probably maybe intend to do a sale and don't want to release it, and then have a bunch of sour community members who are like, "Well, you just released this 2 weeks ago. I just bought it, and now you put it on sale."
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
So interested in that. Obviously, we're very, very excited. We'll see if it comes up early enough for us to get into our Game of the Year chat. I'm sure it'll get a mention, but because Game of the Year episode is going to be a very interesting one this year. We also had Remedy talk about their Alan Wake 2 paid DLC plans. So apparently they've got 2 expansions planned. One of them is called Night Springs, which is apparently going to be, which for those who don't know, is the Twilight Zone parody homage that they have in the game, which Alan Wake, the character who used to write used to be a writer for the show, which is quite interesting. And so apparently the Night Springs episode is going to be like an episodic. It's going to be like chapter episodic stuff where kind of each thing is a different. Well, we're not 100% sure, but it seems like every chapter is going to be like a different episode of the show. So it's going to be kind of going through like a Twilight Zone style thing, which could be quite interesting. Night Springs featured heavily in the original game. My favorite one was the one where the guy has a machine where he would commit quantum suicide. And he's like, he has a machine that makes sure that when he pulls the trigger on the revolver, even though it's fully loaded, he doesn't die. One of his quantum other ones does. And then some guy accidentally unplugs it. And then the second one is called The Lake House, which a mysterious facility situated on the shores of Cauldron Lake, which obviously is the setting for the first game. The facility is managed by an independent organization and conducts secret research when something goes wrong. Oh, I wonder what organization would be conducting research into weird stuff going on. So I'm assuming this is just going to be a crossover with Control. They're just basically, I'm sure just Faden's going to show up. But it looks like I'm really interested. I mean, like, look, there's so much good stuff about Alan Wake. I cannot wait to play the game. The reviews have been incredible. It is the next cab off the rank for me. Once I finish the current things that I'm working on. But yeah, I've already pre-ordered it and bought the expansion pass because I want to play through these DLCs as well. Because I love the Night Springs idea and it's really cool to see the kind of tie in with Control as well. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts? You guys gonna play Alan Wake?
I'd like to.
Throw it on the pile.
Yeah, fair.
Fair. Yes, I want to play Alan Wake. I loved the first one. That was very much on my radar, and I also already spoke about how much I like games made by Remedy. I think they've never missed. But I still haven't played Control. I've dived it, but I haven't played it.
I love Control.
Control is fantastic.
Yeah.
I need to play the PC version.
I need to stop playing Game Pass leaving games so I can get to my dive.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm starting to say no.
Good.
And just wish list crap. This week or this last couple of weeks, I only said no because I was addicted to a different game. So
fair. Yeah, I was slightly tempted by Gunfire Reborn, but I was even like, you know what? No, you know what? I'm just gonna buy the Persona collection with the Game Pass discount because at the Game Pass discount, it's the price of just buying 5, and you get
cool.
3, 4, and 5.
That's cool.
Like, why not?
Okay,
probably not a bad shout. What else do we have in terms of news? This will be a quick one. Skull and Bones apparently got a release window. I'll believe it when I see it. And Ubisoft apparently has delayed a large game. Now, in terms of games that Ubisoft... Now, we've talked many times about how Ubisoft have not had a great year or a great couple of years. But in terms of delaying a large game, there aren't a huge amount of options. They're almost certainly not delaying Avatar because that's coming out in December. X Defiant already got delayed to an indefinite. It doesn't have a new release date yet. So the rumors are apparently the delay is going to be for Star Wars Outlaws, because that's their next biggest game coming out. I think in the near future, because I think that's was supposed to be February or something around there. Because I think the only other thing was, what was the Prince of Persia? The Prince of Persia is in January, but I don't know. Like large game, I think is kind of my thoughts there. I don't know, because I think the next Assassin's Creed is still at least a year away, obviously, because Mirage just came out. I don't know. We'll start with the first part. You guys gonna play Skull and Bones?
No.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. I was really excited for Sea of Thieves, and then that was like not for me.
Yeah.
So will Skull and Bones be for me? I don't know. I'll have to see, I guess. I should have waited longer to see what Sea of Thieves was like before diving into it. As long as there's more game there. I know there's a lot of game with Sea of Thieves.
Sure.
But it's very make your own fun game, which is great. That's super rare. That's rare to the yeah, great. And that's super great for a lot of players. But it's just not great for me.
I'm the same.
Yeah. I need goals. I need, I don't need a game to hold my hand, but I wouldn't mind a game to go
point you in the right direction.
Yeah, but tell me these are my options to go do things, and I can go do one by one and check stuff off my list.
It's the reason I don't play Minecraft. Same thing, right? Where it's like I don't play open world survival games. I don't do any of that stuff. Where it's like just hey, play, and I'm like, okay,
yeah. A modded Minecraft is the only thing that really gets me, because you can play like object-oriented, quest-oriented, like mod packs.
Yeah, sure.
That's
but
perfect for me.
Exactly. They were like, hey, this doesn't have enough direction. Let's add it. Which is like, and like I think that like a lot of the Sea of Thieves stuff that they've added over the time has looked like more in that direction, especially with the crossovers they've done and that kind of stuff.
It's the ADHD decision paralysis stuff where it's just like, you gave me way too much to do with too much open-endedness. So now I don't know what to do, and now I'm quitting your game, and I'm gonna go play a game that gives me a little bit of direction. And I'm envious. I'm envious of people who can just play a game and make their own fun. Because I watch people who play these games that are play the game and have your own fun and do whatever you want. And it looks like they have so much fun. And I'm like, man, I would love to do that just goof off with my friends, but I just can't play a game like that. I'm too computer brained. Like my brain is just objectives.
I'm just looking like Skull and Bones is apparently supposed to come out between January and March, so early next year. But yeah, the unnamed large game, and people are saying Outlaws because there isn't really anything else. We haven't heard anything about Beyond Good and Evil 2 in a long time, but that also didn't have a release date, I don't think. But yeah, apparently the game's been pushed. This large game has been pushed out from what was supposed to be this fiscal year into next fiscal year, which ends March 2025. So it's a lot. There's a lot of space there. So I'm guessing it's probably going to be Star Wars Outlaws, unfortunately, which is a shame because I was very, very excited for that game. Ubisoft's not having a great couple of years. Mostly their own fault, to be fair. But yeah, they really need a banger.
They need to stop. I know the memes Control-V-ing their games, but like there's truth to it, right? A lot of their games we've seen it before, and the trick got old. Like, because I don't necessarily think all Ubisoft games are inherently bad. I think the game design or the game model that they go for works, and it's good.
Yeah,
but it's good the first few times you play it, and then you're over it.
That's the problem with the one-trick pony, right? Is that even if it's a really great fucking trick, you still see it too many times. I mean, like Far Cry 6, obviously, like I think was too far for most people in terms of like the Far Cry model, and then even Assassin's Creed people were like, "Hey, you need to go back to the old ones because like Valhalla was too far for a lot of people." Also, yeah, Shane points out the Captain Laserhawk Blood Dragon remix thingamajig that they did with Rayman. Yeah, it looks. I didn't watch it, but I heard ridiculous shit about it. I need to go and catch up on it. Cameron was talking about it the other day. Rayman being the villain and complaining that he hasn't had a game in a long time is that's pretty funny. It's also depressing as fuck because Rayman Legends was amazing. Even outside of that fucking live service bullshit, we had to play all the time.
Maybe this is too nostalgic of me, and therefore ignorant, but I would love if Ubisoft just went back to the way they made games in the PS2 era.
Yeah.
Like, I think about Rayman 2, The Great Escape. Super fun game. Fantastic. Like, just make a cool, chill, collectathon platformer again.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
These days, right? That's a hard sell.
I mean, A Hat in Time did amazing.
Oh, Hat in Time is so fucking good.
That's literally what, like, Rayman 2, The Great Escape is. It's like a Hat in Time type.
True, that's true. I mean, Hat in Time was basically like, hey, Mario without Mario. They were like, like Super Mario Sunshine. Let's just fucking do it.
Yeah.
God, this game's so good. This will be another quick one. There's been some changes to Xbox leadership. So there's been some reorging. We don't really know what the effects will be on us. Probably not a huge amount. But apparently, Matt Booty got a promotion, so now he's going to be leading. He was already part of like partners and acquisitions. I think he was kind of the guy who was looking after the kind of he was the kind of guy who looked after the sort of studios like ZeniMax and I remember he'd been on multiple interviews talking about like he would go around and look at the projects that the studios were working on and like decide what's big for promotion and kind of just keep track of all that. So now he's kind of getting an expanded role, basically to overlook more of it in a more direct way. And the next story is also about kind of how apparently ZeniMax are now going to be reporting directly into him. So instead of being the sort of hands-off for the last 3 years, they decided actually after Redfall, they're going to be a lot more involved in what ZeniMax puts out, which I think makes a lot of sense, unfortunately.
Well, it wasn't Redfall because a lot of that, I mean, maybe ZeniMax needs some more direction because I heard a lot of Redfall was just like the studio just started, they got too lost in the sauce with the scope, and the scope changed a million times, and there was just no direction. There's no good direction, so maybe they just need some good direction.
Definitely, yeah. And like Shane points out, yeah, it's probably to avoid another Redfall scenario, right, where they basically have some accountability because they, like, I remember when Redfall came out, back in, what was it, May, June, they had Phil Spencer going on podcasts with like egg on his face and people just ask him the hard questions like, hey, how did you let this happen? How did you let this out the door? And they were, he was like, oh yeah, no, it tested really well with the reviewers. It was like, what like internal reviewers? Are you kidding me? Shane also points out, they hoped Microsoft would cancel the game, but they didn't because they needed something to come out. Sarah Bond has also been promoted to Xbox president, so overseeing all the like platform and hardware stuff. And apparently their chief of marketing is stepping down after 32 years of Microsoft, which is crazy. So there's been some sort of reorging and changes over there. Again, mostly business stuff that won't really impact any of the things that we see. But, I'm sure we'll probably see a few of them at a few award shows and maybe on like E3, well, not E3, but, some of the Games Fest stages and all that kind of stuff. They'll have their shiny new nameplates and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I guess now with the Activision acquisition, try saying that 10 times fast. I imagine there's a big interesting leadership changes there as well with you on the admin side of things, you don't necessarily need an HR person for every part of the business. You don't necessarily need marketing people for every part of the business. Hopefully they can find new places for them, but I imagine there's probably going to be a few I don't want to say layoffs, but there'll probably be a few changes to both parts of the business, like we saw with when Bethesda got brought on, but probably on a much wider scale, which is a bit rough considering how many layoffs we've seen over the last year in the games industry. I think they said it was like over 6,000 jobs basically have been lost, which is insane.
Yeah. Do you get nervous of and maybe I do unrealistically, but do you get nervous if who's going to replace Phil Spencer when he eventually steps down?
A little bit. But I mean, Phil does seem like he's in it for the long haul, you know?
Yeah, well, but he's also recently talked, and I think the last year or so about. I mean, he did an article or an interview review where he's like, obviously, I can't leave Xbox forever.
Yeah.
And he stated he was essentially looking for a successor.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
And of course, everyone has to retire. He can't work forever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sometimes I just think about like, I think he's done such good things for the platform. And I sometimes think about like, man, are we going to get another Don
Matrick?
Yeah. Don Matrick, yeah.
I mean, hey, look, John Riccatello's not doing anything now that he's left Unity, right? They could get him on board to completely ruin the Xbox brand.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but I don't think Phil would actually ever let that happen, right?
No, definitely.
Like,
that's my hope, right?
He would pick the person.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like Matt Booty might be it sounds like one of these two, like Matt Booty or Sarah Bond, might be the logical choice, like next in line. I mean, you have someone who's running the platform and the hardware side of the business, and then you have someone who's basically dealing with the publishers and being the kind of go-between for all these studios that they're now managing. I think those make a lot of logical sense to be as a successor in that space, assuming they're still there by the time he retires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is a good thought, because I think that so much of Xbox's recent success has been led by the stuff that Phil's been doing. And it hasn't all been bangers, right? But it's definitely been better than it has been in the past. Shane points out, even ignoring the business side of things, Phil's done a great job in making us feel involved and heard. Yeah, exactly. And
he's built a trust with us, exactly.
Yeah, and especially like, with the kind of the quite consumer friendly side of things, with the crossplay stuff and backwards compatibility and a lot of stuff that he's pushed. He's earned a lot of goodwill. I mean, I am always careful about trying to personify soulless corporations who only care about our money would sell us out for $1 if they could.
Right. So that's also, it's like not something that keeps me up at night for sure. But every now again, I think about like, man, I wonder who is going to replace Phil, and if they're going to destroy the company or the platform like Don Matrick almost did.
Yeah.
It's not a like, oh man, I hope they get somebody good. It really is a selfish thought, because it's not like, oh, I really hope they get somebody who's as good as Phil Spencer, so my like the brand survives. It's like, man, I hope they get somebody as good as Phil Spencer, so I can keep playing the platform I like.
So I don't have to move to PlayStation.
Terrible.
Yeah,
exactly. It's a very much so like not like a, oh man, I care so deeply about the soulless corporation. It's more so, please don't fuck this up for me.
Yeah,
like.
Look, I bought a lot of games. I have a lot of achievements on this platform. That shit's
don't
not
fuck this up for me. Like.
And then last story, Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 is now out. There are some rumors, apparently, for some data mining, that is going to the Volume 2 collection is going to have Peace Walker 4 and 5 in it, which is very exciting. Obviously not confirmed, but this would be the first time.
I hope not 5. I hope not 5, honestly, because I already have 5 started and I haven't finished it.
To be fair, I was on the same page. I was like, it seems kind of like 5. Like I played 5. Like I've like played 5 recently, right? And I was like, 5 seems like kind of a weird thing to add in the last minute. It's like, well, what else could they put in there? I guess as part of a collection.
Yeah, portable ops.
Yeah, but oh my god, portable ops. Fucking Metal Gear Acid, that'd be great. But I was like looking at Phantom Pain. I was like, wait, that was 2015. That was a long fucking time ago. Actually,
it's just gonna be so hard to go back and finish the one I already have started. If a new version comes out. So.
I did the 360 version, and I have the Xbox One version sitting there that I need to do. But if they bring it out of the collection again, I don't know if I could do it 3 times. That's pushing it.
And then I'd be in this scenario of, okay, do I abandon the old one and start over on the new fancy pretty model, or do I finish my old one and then never play the new fancy pretty model?
I mean, on the plus side, the Konami do such bad work with their ports, as we'll see in the story, that that you're probably better off playing the old version.
Probably. Yeah.
So yeah, So unfortunately the collection has been plagued with a few problems, mostly on PC. But the games have been outputting at 720p for 2 and 3, which is not great. Modders have already gone in and pushed it up to 4K. So there's that. But there apparently, some of the technical stuff around for those who really care about that kind of stuff has not been amazing, unfortunately. It is not the best port. Especially considering this is, I think, the first time that Metal Gear Solid 3 has been available on PC, which is a weird thought. But yeah, because it was PlayStation originally, and then the HD collection, I don't think came to PC. So yeah, they did say they're going to be patching some of the stuff, and there are definitely some post-launch stuff that they're going to be working on. But yeah, this doesn't have me like super. I mean, like, I am obviously excited for the prospect of being able to play the Volume 2 collection if it does have Peace Walker and 4 in it, because I've never played either of those. But yeah, I am always a little bit worried when it comes to Konami and the quality of the stuff that they put out, unfortunately.
At least they're releasing games again.
Yeah. That there is that.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for their Castlevania DS collection or whatever when they finally bring that out, because I want to play through Portrait of Ruin again.
I don't even care if they do a really janky setup where it's like what I have to do with the DS emulator, where it's like a little screen on one side and a big screen on the other, and like that's how they make it work. I wouldn't even care. Play the shit out of it.
Yes, absolutely. I have the Advanced Collection here I need to play. And yeah, Dawn of Sorrow, greater than Symphony of the Night. Okay, you need to calm down. I love Dawn of Sorrow. Dawn of Sorrow is great.
That's a hot take. I agree. Dawn of Sorrow was actually a fun fact. My first Castlevania.
One of mine too.
Fantastic. Yeah. But I did play Symphony of the Night a few years ago, or a couple years back, and that's a hard sell.
That's a fucking great. I love it. Symphony of the Night is nearly perfect.
I
think the only problem people would put towards that game is that it was too easy.
Yeah.
Which, fine by me. I don't give a shit. But man, I love Castlevania. I'm gonna go back to the Advanced Collection at some stage.
Yeah, I only have one of the Advanced Collection games done. I was doing a couple years back. I was in a video game slump, and I didn't know what I wanted to play to get me out of it. I would just started doing a full Castlevania series playthrough.
Nice.
And I got up to the first GBA Castlevania because I was playing in release order. Yeah, I beat that, and then I was roadblocked on having to get a PS2 game, so I ordered that, and it came in. And by the time it came in, the momentum was over. So,
gotcha. Yep. No, I know the feeling.
And I need to spread the word to more people about Castlevania 64 being an amazing game that more people should play.
Come on.
Look at. No, it was great. Castlevania 64 is a great game.
It's one of the worst games ever made.
It's a
so
great
bad.
game. No, Castlevania 64 is so good. I played it literally a couple years ago. I say that with no irony. I think Castlevania 64 is fantastic.
Firehawk says part of his bingo dive, he started Mirror of Fate. Mirror of Fate is in my cone of shame. I need to finish the boss rush on expert. I literally re-downloaded it after I saw this question, and I was like, I should probably get back to that. I'm gonna give it a try. I really like Mirror of Fate. Like, I like the game itself, but the boss rush is so fucking it's bullshit. It's actual bullshit. But I will finish it.
We still need to get a group together for
Harmony of Despair.
Yes. Yeah. And I have also started Symphony of the Night.
Symphony of the Night's great. I do like the trend of Dawn of Sorrow, when it was all those games that were coming out on the DS and had DS as the initials for the subtitle, because it was Castlevania, Dawn of Sorrow, so DS, and then I think it was the Resident Evil one they put out, which was Deadly Silence, DS, and I think there was like a couple of others as well. It was just like a trend that was happening. Harmony of Despair is not greater than Symphony of the Night in any way, shape, or form. I'm gonna have to time you out for that. I'm sorry. You're getting a 30-minute ban. That's ridiculous.
Oh, that's funny.
I really don't. I don't hugely like Harmony of Despair. All right. Let's get into the Game Pass stuff. I'll just quickly flick through it. So we had Mineko's Night Market join October 26th, along with Dead Space. I highly recommend it. I talked about that last week. And The Frog Detective Entire Mystery. is now on consoles. And then coming up, we've got Jasont coming out on October 31st, which looks really good. Don't Nod's really beautiful looking rock climbing game. We've also got Headbangers Rhythm Royale coming out as well, which looks interesting. And then we have Thirsty Suitors coming out on November 2nd, which looks odd, to say the least. I'm very curious. There's a few things leaving, but by the time you hear this, it'll probably be too late. But Kill It With Fire, Persona 5 Royal, Signalis, and what was the other one? Gunfire Reborn. So probably too late to check those out, but Signalis is quite quick. You can do it with console commands very, very quickly. And Kill It With Fire is also a nice little fun first-person game. It takes a few hours. Maybe not if you have arachnophobia, though. But to be fair, you are killing the spiders. That's the whole point. So
yeah, but you also have to see the spiders.
That's true. There are a lot of spiders.
I think I was bummed about Signalis leaving, and then I signed into my PS5, and it was the PlayStation Plus game. So it's
there you go. Signalis is great.
Yeah, I really want to do that one.
And like I said last week, once you finish Signalis, you can go and watch the guy who makes all the cute animations of the two. Well, actually, I was actually about to reveal a huge fucking spoiler for the game, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely go check out the cute animations for the couple, quote unquote. All right, well, let's get into what we've been playing. I'll start first with just some quick hits. So I went back and did the Wolong DLC, the 2 packs that are out at the moment. They're okay. I wasn't hugely impressed, to be honest. They reuse a lot of the same environments, add a couple of new characters in there. There's like 3 main missions per DLC and then like 7 side missions. It was okay. I also want to point out that I was talking about Sekiro last week. I went and finished Sekiro. That is one of the greatest games I've ever played in my entire life. From can truly do no wrong in my book, unfortunately. This is probably the most like get good game I've played in a long time. And I know people will say, hey, it only has like a 2.2 ratio on TA, calm down. I was like, yeah, okay, that is true. A lot of people have finished it. It's very popular.
FromSoft games have a phenomenon of having low ratios, not because they're easy games, but their lists are easy. But the games are also so good that everyone finishes them for the most part.
Exactly.
Like they're games worth getting good enough to beat.
And the thing with like Souls, with Souls games is that, Dark Souls especially, is that like you can kind of level your way through some of that stuff. Like there's a grind you can do to kind of get through stuff. This game doesn't have much of that. Your stats are quite set. You basically you can only level up your attack power by beating bosses, by beating main bosses, and you can only level up your health and dexterity, health and stability by collecting certain items in the world that you just can't get to if you haven't beaten bosses. So you can get filtered quite easily. I had to beat the game basically 3 times for all the achievements. It is a fucking fantastic game. This game also frustrated the shit out of me. Holy fuck! This is one of the games where I nearly threw a controller through my TV. And I will rage at games occasionally. This one, I have worn out the block button on my controller, because essentially, to deflect, you need to be hitting the block button over and over and over again, with timing. But there is nothing more satisfying than when an enemy runs at you, you block perfectly and kill them in a single hit. Going from this and then playing Wolong, I was like, wow, Wolong is I really enjoyed Wolong when it first came out back in March. But going back to it after Sekiro, I'm like, this is they're not even in the same ballpark. Sekiro is so deliberate and so well made. And Wolong is really floaty and has a bunch of visual bullshit going on. And is just kind of it's fine. It's a decent game, but it's just they're totally different leagues.
There are 2 games I want to play for sure, but I definitely feel like I would have to play them spaced apart because of how at the very least I couldn't play Sekiro immediately before Wolong. Yeah. If I was gonna do them back to back, it would be Wolong into Sekiro.
Yeah.
Or it'd be Sekiro and then I need to give it maybe a year. or so before I dove into Wulong.
On the plus side, I got really good at the deflects in Sekiro, so it made Wulong pretty fucking straightforward because the timing is way bigger on that.
I have a question about Sekiro though.
Yes.
Can you see how, like, the person that did the speedrun blindfolded
is insane? Literally a crazy person. Like timing, like Dark Souls, you can kind of cheese your way through. Like Dark Souls gives you options, right? Yeah. Where it's like, hey, you have builds. For Sekiro, you have getting good. That's pretty much it. It was like, you have two options. Like, you can either try and take down the health, or you can take down the stability. So it's like, okay, are you going to like play like jumpy and kind of just like get in with like chip damage, and just kind of like death by 1,000 cuts, or are you going to be like, I'm going to master the deflection patterns and wear them out so I can kill them in a single hit. And sometimes it's kind of a combination of the two, depending on who you're fighting. Some of the bosses there, like, I still think the Genichiro fight, which is the kind of second or third boss fight, is probably my favorite in the entire game, because it's a really good balance of, like, it's the first, like, check of, like, okay, have you learned the mechanics? And I beat him first time on my first 2 playthroughs, and then I died on my 3rd playthrough once. So I was like, but it was like that level where I was like, okay, I'm getting good at this game. And then you fight things like the Guardian 8, which can get fucked. And then like Owl, and then some of the, again, like it's like some of the like optional and later boss fights get really, really difficult. In a way that kind of is not super fun. But I think overall, like, Sekiro is just an absolute fantastic game, like a 5 out of 5 game, like a must play. And yes, Cameron, I finally got to it. So I played both of the games that I've been gifted. All right, I don't want to fucking hear it. I also did the High on Life DLC. That was really cool. High on Knife. So it's about Stabby wanting to go. He gets a package from not Amazon, basically. Address from his home planet, and he's like, oh hey, he's like, yeah, I got like super drunk one night and got lost and forgot where my home planet was. So I'm gonna go and find this package and find the address on it so I can go back to my home planet of Australia 2 or whatever. It's more of the same. Like, it's real fucking stupid. There is a part. So you know how like Rick and Morty just like throws and like you've just been an episode, be like, what the fuck is this? And it's like, oh, we decided to just make a random episode on this run reference, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. And it just came out of nowhere. This DLC has a part where it's like there's a guy who's like, hey, I need you to go into this cave and clean some stuff off my butt. And I was like, oh, okay, right. It's gonna be one of these things, right? And you go in there and it just takes a complete left turn. And I don't want to spoil it. But it is essentially like a 10 to 15 minute parody of a thing that makes no sense. Like, I was like, why would you pick this? Like, it starts with a pun, and I'm pretty sure someone wrote the pun on the whiteboard, and then they just went from there. Yeah,
Cool.
It is more of the same. Obviously, Justin Roiland is not in this game. So his gun Kenny has been dropped. They're like, oh yeah, they make vague reference to the fact that they just dropped the gun. He dropped the gun somewhere and they couldn't find it anymore. And so they've replaced his gun with another gun called Harper.
Cool.
And there was an achievement for getting 50 kills with it called Harper I Hardly Knew Her, which is top tier humor. But yeah, highly recommended.
Is the replacement voice actor like good though? Like, are we?
He's fine. She like you know like it's I don't know. It's she's a military gun. Like, she's like a female Marine gun.
Okay.
It's like, it's fine. You know, I don't know. It's like it's relatively inoffensive. They've also added a new gun called Ball, which is a bunch of blue guys on a pinball shooting gun. And there's like 3 little blue guys sitting on top of the gun, and they basically grab a pinball and will put it in the front to reload the gun for you. But the 3 guys are always doing something different depending on what you're doing. So if you're just walking, they'll just kind of be sitting there. But if you start running, one of them will just start raising his fist and just start shaking it. And if you like power slide or a different thing, if you do like a jump, if you shoot again, like it's
fun.
Like it's great. Like, it's real fun attention to detail. And the gun works like a pinball machine. So you shoot an enemy and then you time that so it bounces back and bounces back and bounces back.
Cool.
Which is actually really, really fun. Actually, it's like my favorite thing in the whole thing. Still too many collectibles. the jokes do kind of wear a little bit thin. But that's it's that Rick and Morty thing where it's like they'll tell a joke and then they'll explain the joke and then they'll just keep bashing the joke to death. And it's kind of like ha ha ha, okay, it's not funny, okay, it's kind of funny again. Kind of thing.
But it's always funnier when you explain the joke.
Yeah.
My sense of humor is absolutely stupid because I love that kind of thing where you just like keep hammering the joke forever to the point where it's not funny. The fact that it's getting not funny is just funnier to me.
Yeah.
Because
I have just an incredibly dry sense of humor.
You'll fucking love this because basically the conceit is that you are on a salt planet that is entire like it's like salt covers everything. It's a salt planet almost entirely populated by slugs. That's just and if anyone knows how salt and slugs go, not a great combination. So there's a lot of that kind of humor. Cool. But yeah, definitely recommend it. It's fucking hilarious. And the achievements are relatively straightforward too. Char, what have you got on your list?
I'm really short list this week. So I've been playing 2 games. I have been playing Chicory. Finally, which I got very excited for because I got to see Jake play it, streaming it, and I've been wanting to play it ever since. And then when it came to Xbox, I was like, I need to play this. I just haven't had the time to play it yet. And I finally have started it in like the last 3 weeks. I love it. I love it.
That game's fantastic.
Yeah.
I have 100% on Steam and I 100% intend to do it again on Xbox.
It's amazing.
Fantastic game.
I love it so much. Like the fact that I get to be like arty and just like paint everywhere and like do whatever the fuck I want and be messy, and I don't have to like draw within lines or anything like that. I can just put paint anywhere. It's great. But also the story is really sweet too, and like I'm not even that far through it. I think I'm up to like chapter 3, so like I've got a bit of story coming through, but it's the first game in a while that I want to know the story, which doesn't happen with me because I don't play games for narrative. Like I don't. Hey, I have ADHD. I have a short attention span. You need to make it really interesting for me to be like, okay, I'm in. I'm hooked. This one's hooked me. Like, I love it. It's beautiful. The art is fantastic. It just plays so well. The real chicken noodle soup for the soul type of story. It's really good. It really is. And, like, it's just so nice. And I love those kind of games. I love those cute, indie, arty games that are just, you don't have to, like, play it and be like, I am suffering. Because I don't want that. I don't want to suffer when I play games. Like, that's my escape. That's not my therapy. Like,
then you're gonna hate what I have for this week.
Oh god. Okay. Well, my other game I've been playing is Mineko's Night Market, and I'm the first one to start it so far out of the Discord or the friends that are on my friends list at the moment. So I love it. I love it.
It looks really cute.
I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. The little tagline that it has for it, right? Let me just move screens so I can actually read it properly. Is Mineko's Night Market is a narrative-driven social simulation adventure game that celebrates Japanese culture and invites players to craft whimsical items, eat delicious snacks, and ultimately enjoy all the cats. Yeah.
That sounds like a laundry list of things that you like.
Yeah. All of these things. I like to eat food. I like to do crafts. I like to paint and do artwork, and I love Japanese culture and cats. So like this is literally the perfect game. I've just done the first part of it, so like I've done the first day essentially. So it works in days, and you have a certain amount of like energy, which you can refill by eating things, and you've also got like there's energy in life, and you use up energy to pick flowers, which you then can turn into crafts. You can collect hairballs from some of the cats at one point. I'm assuming there'll be other craft things that you need to collect and things like that. And there's like achievements tied to collecting so many like flowers and things like that. But I'm not actually even using a walkthrough. I'm just going to play the game and then I'll work it out later if I need to actually like clean up anything, or if there's anything that I'm like missing that I need to go back and fix or anything like that. But it's very Japanese. But like very cute Japanese. There's something weird going on because there were like agents at the very start of the game, and you're like, wait, what? And you start off like the typical Ghibli movies where you're in the car and you've got your parents in the front and you're reading a book in the back. But it looks like it's just you and your father. So it's your father and his daughter, like your Mineko. And they're moving to a new town.
Classic.
And
Yep,
so you,
right.
you get to do like the whole setting up and meeting new friends. And your new friend, Bobo, is just like the little kid that runs around and he's got his mum and they live in the convenience shop. And so you get up to mischief with him and you have to like rescue cats and things like that. It's very, very cute. And the art style's beautiful. Like, I love that kind of art style. So it's like, it's my jam. Like, I've been caught up with that so far. So I haven't gone back to Chicory this week, but like, I will. I'll probably go between the two games if I don't finish Mineko sooner than that.
They just had an article come out on TA actually talking about how much they were enjoying Game Pass and like they felt like really lucky that they were able to get onto the service. So hopefully it does well for them.
Which is cool because there's so many, like, I like when those kind of games come through into Game Pass because that's when I get to play them. Like, what's the other one that I've played before that's really cute? Calico?
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. And
Have you checked out Story of Seasons? Is that on Game Pass?
Yep, it is.
yeah, I've got to. It's on my list. I've also got Planet of Lana installed and Cocoon. So they're sitting waiting.
Great fucking games. Cocoon is so good.
Yeah. And then I need to go back and finish Marquette. But I'll get there. Yeah, that's me.
Jack,
what about you? I know one thing you've been playing.
I'll start out with the other things that I haven't been playing,
Sure.
or the other ones. So honestly, I'll just go over kind of what I've been doing this month, I suppose, since I'm not weekly. Not much. Trek to Yomi is one that I remember that sticks out.
Oh yeah.
I played Trek to Yomi because it was leaving Game Pass. That game broke my heart because I was genuinely so excited for it, and it was so underwhelming.
Yeah.
It was so incredibly boring. The story wasn't very good. I had to turn on the English voice acting just so I could try to pay attention to it because I had it with the Japanese voice acting at first and I was reading it and it was so boring I couldn't even bring myself to read it. So I was like, okay, let me at least hear it so I don't have to pay that much attention. And even then I was just like, this is so uninteresting. And the gameplay was very rinse and repeat. Like once you figured out one combo that worked, it just worked for everything on every difficulty. So I was incredibly disappointed by it. It was also, I think, notably for me, the first time I've ever felt that Devolver missed.
Yeah, it was very much like a style, no substance kind of thing. Unfortunately, like I love the way it looks, and I like the sort of the sort of Kurosawa like kind of hidden fortress kind of stuff that they were going for. But yeah, I'm totally with you.
If you're gonna enjoy Trek to Yomi, you have to just be the biggest diehard. I don't care as long as it's samurai western. I will be like, you just have to love that style.
Yeah. If you don't care about achievements, just put it on easy and you kill pretty much everyone in like 1 to 2 hits and you just kind of like samurai your way through the whole thing and like see the journey and then you're done.
Yeah, so that was one game I was doing that was relatively disappointing. I feel like there was another Game Pass game I rushed. Pulling up my list, Turnip Boy, which was fine.
Oh yeah.
Turnip Boy was good. It was funny, as advertised. And then I've been working through Ni no Kuni, which has been very enjoyable. Studio Ghibli style, obviously, JRPG. I was kind of it took me a while to actually see what all the hype was about because I really was only playing this based on just hearing how amazing it was. That was enough for me to go off of. I didn't need to look up any gameplay or anything else. I just heard I like JRPGs. I heard this was a super highly recommended one. I've been wanting to play it since it came out on the PS3. I think I bought it when it first came out on the PS3 over a decade ago. And now I'm only finally just getting to. I think I own Ni no Kuni 1. Well, I guess I don't own it on Game Pass, but if we count Game Pass, it'd be 4 times. I have it on PS3, PS4, Switch, and now I'm playing it on Xbox.
Cool.
Same story for Ni no Kuni 2. I think I have it on Switch, PS4, and now Xbox. So game I've been meaning to get to forever. It took me till I got to the this is Pokemon portion of the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's when the game really starts. To be honest, it's basically like
Yeah,
the desert area, kind of. Yeah,
yeah. When I get to this is Pokemon. Go catch the monsters you've been fighting and leveling them up and evolve them with items. I was like, okay, this is great. This is. I see the appeal now.
yeah.
So I've been really enjoying that. And the story's good too. Very Studio Ghibli, heartwarming, whatever story. I have a theory,
Mm-hmm.
about how the story goes, and I don't want you to obviously confirm or deny, and I'm also going to keep it incredibly vague.
Yeah,
Um, but I think none of it's real.
that's an interesting idea.
I think none of it's real, and I will message you after this, or we can speak after this or something. Why I think none of it's
You
real.
can do it in the
My thought
post show.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah. The why I think none of it's real. So I think none of it's real. But that's Ni no Kuni. I've been doubling up on it, trying to play half and half of Ni no Kuni, and I've also been playing and failing at the doubling up because Final Fantasy XI, the MMO from 2002, has taken over my life. It has clasped me down. I was playing Ni no Kuni. It was when I got home from work, I'd play Ni no Kuni till about 8 o'clock. Then I'd hop over to Final Fantasy XI and I'd start playing till I went to bed. And then on weekends, I'd play Ni no Kuni or whatever game I was playing till like 5 or 6 o'clock. Then I'd swap over to Final Fantasy to play that. Last weekend, I woke up, wanted to check one thing on Final Fantasy XI because it had an auction house. Wanted to see if my stuff sold. Started at 9 a.m. and I did not exit the game until 10 p.m. the following night.
Amazing.
And I think that was that is the first time in probably over a decade. No, not that long. It's the first time in a very long time that I was able to play a game for 13 hours straight and be fully engaged the whole time. Like I'll my typical day-to-day life, like if I don't have anything I need to do, I'm usually playing games. And I'll have a game loaded for the whole day, but I'll get distracted over here and get up and go make food or get up and go out and run an errand quick or whatever. And the game will be very broken up. But Final Fantasy XI was just 13 hours of like all I did was break to use the bathroom and like cook pizza. And that was it. It was just 13 hours of just playing the game.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So it was great. The game has me in its grasp. That's what was playing today before the podcast. I should probably go play Ni no Kuni after, but I'm probably gonna hop back on Final Fantasy XI. And the game is it's like, so it got way better over time, like the quality of life stuff they've done to it. It's very solo friendly. You don't have to you don't get killed by level 1 mobs in the starting area, which was my problem when I played it in like 2008, like way back on Xbox 360. But it's also probably the most, like, something that people talk about a lot with MMOs is like it's not respective of my time or whatever.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy XI is not respectful of my time.
Yeah.
But I still can't stop playing it. I first experienced that the other night when I was farming for like this drop for an item I needed. One item to get like gear my character. And the item is only obtainable from one monster that is called a notorious monster. That is a lottery spawn, meaning it has placeholder enemies that you have to kill to have a chance of this thing spawning. And it only respawns once every hour. And then the item you need from it is a 19% chance drop.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
I finally got it. I got it last night. And I got the other one I needed this morning. I had a guy in my clan help me run like some dungeon thing that I wasn't making an easy drop. So, but that was 3 days. 3 days of playing a long time each day to get one item that I needed. Well, 3 items to trade for one item.
I just can't do that anymore.
Dude, I don't know what it is. Like, usually that shit would drive me insane, but I can't stop playing. I spent, when I first started, when I was like fresh leveling, I think one play session when I was only playing like a couple hours a night, I was researching. I have the wiki up while I'm playing because like there's just so much that I have to. I was like, it was like, you should do this in this zone. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll run to that zone. And I'm a pretty new character, so I don't have many teleports or movement options yet. So I spent 2 hours just literally just zoning, going from like walking through each zone to get to where the guide was telling me I should be. 2 hours, not killing anything on the way because fighting stuff in that game is kind of a chore. You have to like queue up your battle, you select your thing, and then you select attack, and then you draw your weapons, and then you run up, and you basically auto battle, and that's combat in the game. But I don't know. It's just like I just can't put it down. It's not respective of my time. It's an absolute grind fest. But I can't stop playing, and I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me. Please help. Someone help.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like a sickness. It sounds like a real sickness.
Yeah. What got me into it was probably a combination of the 6-hour Final Fantasy retrospective I watched, followed directly by a 3-hour MMO retrospective I watched.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
I was like, okay, on the Steam Summer Sale, I bought it, the whole like expanded everything collection for like $2. Because why not? And I was like, maybe I'll play it one day, but probably not. Chances are slim. And then I watched both of those videos back to back, and I literally like the MMO one wasn't even over by the time I was installing Final Fantasy 11.
Now there you go.
Let's go. So my goal is to just get the story content done. Probably won't grind much end game. Just honestly because I would like to experience Final Fantasy 11 before jumping into 14 when it comes back to Xbox. And then that game will be my life. And
that's next year, right?
Yeah, 2024 is they said when I did it. That's when I'll probably Human Hunters Anonymous will become Final Fantasy 14 Anonymous. We're gonna become an MMO Discord.
Yep.
Let's do it. It'll be great.
Yeah, it's just MMOs only. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Is playing a 20-year-old MMO. It gets support. The community is still super lively. Like 20K players.
Just not on Xbox, sadly.
Not on Xbox, sadly. The last major content update, not even like maintenance update. They do monthly maintenance updates, and the last major content update was 2020. Like,
wow.
Shit.
Yeah.
Not that bad for.
And the last major full official expansion was I think 2015. So yeah, they're still, and they just released a like a open letter to the community like last month saying, hey, if you're concerned about this game dying, it's not. Like, we have no intention of stopping this. Like, we have a roadmap of content we want to release and stuff. So yeah, they're still kicking, live and kicking with which is weird with 14 being out. They're like, no, we have a team for 11 also. That's like, we want to keep this game alive. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Because I was worried. The game is very group content heavy, as most like pre-WoW, and even WoW is, but like most pre-WoW MMOs were like, you need to group to just level. You need to group to fight a basic mob in a zone. Which is not anymore, thank God. But where's I going with that thought?
Oh, well, yeah, that's the problem with like when those communities start dying off. Like that's the problem I have with Neverwinter at the moment, right?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I was nervous getting into the game for the community being dead and needing to group, and there being no one to group. But the game is very much still alive, and also they made it super solo friendly. Like you can solo the entire all story and all the story expansions and everything. There's only like 3 things. I was talking to somebody last night who's like a veteran player. He's like, there's literally only 3 things in the game you probably want to group for, but you don't even necessarily need to group for if you're optimized enough, and it's only for gearing. Like there's no story content for it. It's literally just, do you want to max gear your character? So,
sweet.
So if you feel like you want to play Final Fantasy 11, it's super accessible.
Oh god, no. 14 you're probably going to pull me in on, but 11 I think is probably maybe a step too far.
That's fair. I don't blame you. I'm on a weird kick. I'm on an ADHD hyper focus of MMOs because I'm literally sitting here like, all right, Final Fantasy 11, gonna beat all the story. Then I'm gonna hop over and get a WoW sub, and I'm gonna play through all the story content on WoW. And then Final Fantasy 14 is gonna come out, and then I'm gonna max level all the jobs on 14 and get all the achievements. So what I'm trying to say is I'm quitting being an achievement hunter.
Yeah, you're done. You're basically quitting everything. It sounds like, because that's all encompassing.
No, I'll burn out. It's just like my ADHD hyper focus right now is MMOs for some reason.
I've got
But I'll play Ni no Kuni tomorrow.
Yes, definitely do that. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. And if yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I got a few more on my list. Based on that, when I read that question from Isaac, I got a bit of a kick in the pants to go and look at my old Konoshane games and decided that I was going to finish up Limbo, which had been sitting there for close to a decade. The Xbox One version, I just had the die less than 5 times, run through the game, and I sat down and bashed my head against it for a few hours, and I finally got it. My first serious playthrough of it, I managed to get up to the final puzzle and fuck it up and get my 6th death on that, which I was not happy about. But I managed to get on my third or fourth try. Then I decided I was going to do the 360 version, which was a bit of a hassle because it turns out it wasn't on my account anymore. It was on an old account that when I lost this account anyway, it was a whole nightmare. Figured out how to get it sorted. Went back and did that. That took me a couple of tries. And then I decided, well, fuck it. Let's just do the PC version as well. So I hadn't started the PC version, started from scratch, managed to get the no death or the less than 5 death achievement in one go. And I died once on a fuck up where I was going for a collectible where I should have just left it. So it's doable, apparently. It only took me on the 360 case 13 years or so of putting it off to finally get around to doing it. So that's those games released from the Konoshane. But I decided that I'm going to download a few others. I did try Outlast, like I mentioned earlier. That did not go well. Unfortunately, I was like, yeah, I can do this. No, I cannot. But I also downloaded Splosion Man, which is another Konoshane game where I need to finish the game on hardcore difficulty, which is basically you need to run through the game where everything kills you in one hit. And if you die, you go back to the start of a level. There's no checkpoints.
Mm-hmm.
I had done the first 12 levels, 12 or 50 or so. And so now I think I managed to make it to 25 or 26. So I made some decent progress in it. I'm towards the end of the second chapter. But I know it gets more difficult. So
I wonder how I'd...
Sorry, what was that?
I was just saying, I wonder how I'd feel going back to that game now, because I remember playing it and I felt like it was hard as shit.
It is hard, but it's actually, yeah. I think I have the same thought. Where it's actually, there are parts where it's there's some bullshit in there, but it's got a real flow to it that actually works quite well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I remember being super hard when I played it back in the old early days. I played it when it was relatively new.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious to see how I'd fare now with another 15 years of gaming experience and other hard, tough as nails games under my belt. I'd be very curious to see if I'd have the stomach for it now.
I've definitely got a lot more resilient over the years now that I've played so much other bullshit. Let me put it this way: playing through Sekiro has basically hardened me against a lot of bullshit and understanding repetition. There are some levels, the levels in the nice thing about that is that the levels in Splosion Man are about 2 to 5 minutes long, and there are basically any parts with the robots with lasers are the worst fucking things in the entire world because they will in regular mode they'll hurt you, but in this mode if they beam you from off screen you die in one hit and you're back to the start. So I raged a lot of that, but I've made a lot of really good progress with it. And it's a really enjoyable game. I'd forgotten how flow state that game is in that there's so much of it is timing and exploding at the right time and bouncing off walls and sliding down walls to regain your explosions and hitting barrels at the right time and triggering stuff and running from things that are chasing you or it's you've got walls closing in or crushes coming down, all this kind of stuff. And this kind of really, really, it's got a real rhythm to it that is really, really gratifying.
Yeah, Splosion Man's sick.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever play Miss Splosion Man because that's where they were hey, you thought that first game was hard, get fucked. But I love Twisted Pixel's other stuff. The Maw is one of my favorite Xbox Live Arcade games back in the day. I enjoyed Comic Jumper for the most part. So yeah, I am going to go back and finish it. Sorry,
go ahead. I was just going to say, speaking of Comic Jumper, that reminded me of have we heard any news on that one game where that's wasn't there a game where you're in a storybook and then you can jump out of the storybook?
Plucky Squire. Yes, Plucky Squire. Yeah. That Yeah, I think it got delayed because I know that they talked about it last year at PAX, and that they've shown it off a few times, but it got pushed back a few months back, I think. But I think it's like it should be like early next year. So
we've talked
looks
about
good.
that
Looks
before.
really good.
Super tangent. You just saying comics
Yeah.
reminded me of that. I was excited for that one. So
Yeah, me too. I also reinstalled Castlevania. Yeah, Castlevania Mirror of Fate. So we'll see how that goes. I just have the boss rush to do. It is rough. It is rough, but I will bash my head against it till I get done because I want to get it off the tag. The other kind of semi-large game I played was Chernobylite, which came out a few years ago. It's a first-person shooter with some management elements. The idea is basically you play a guy who is who worked at Chernobyl during the meltdown, and he comes back 30 years later because his wife basically went missing during the whole events of this thing when he was working at Chernobyl. And obviously the whole place is fucked up. And he's basically discovered a material called Chernobylite, which is basically graphite that's been kind of radioactified, that he can use to essentially create portals between worlds. It's kind of like not super explained up front. They kind of reveal more as it goes on. But basically, he has a device that allows him to kind of move between it, like basically like portal between places. And so he's basically been called back there to try and find his wife. And part of it is you going into set areas each day and sneaking around and collecting items. So there's like a survival aspect of it where you need to build things around your base to manage radiation levels and manage air quality and like build. It has like survival elements where it's like you build weapons and you build upgrades for them, and you also recruit other members of your team who can like go out and do missions for you. So it kind of I kind of described it as Metro meets This War of Mine, in terms of like there's like a management area and then there's kind of like a first person sneaking around kind of collecting resources and that kind of stuff. It kind of goes like day by day, but you're going back to the same areas a lot. There's about 25 or so missions that you kind of do, and you kind of pick when you want to do them. And I'm not sure how, like, I don't know if it just goes indefinitely and just the days just keep racking up. But the game's relatively straightforward. You can play it on easy. Like you can put like low combat difficulty, low management difficulty. So it's like things are really cheap to build and enemies die really easily. So it's relatively straightforward. It's got some interesting ideas. Like each of the people you recruit, they can teach you like new abilities. There's like more damage with weapons, easier stealth, easier ways to build things. There's a lot of building, like building and crafting involved, but it's all quite base level. Like it's a bit ropey. Like it's quite janky in a way that's like, oh, okay, this is kind of interesting, but doesn't really do anything. Like it kind of feels like a lot of mechanics thrown together. It is very much one of those games where like decisions matter, TM. So in fact, when you die, you actually go into like a world between worlds kind of thing where you can actually go and change the decisions that you've made to change your relationships with people using this Chernobylite that you find. So if you got to a part where it's like, okay, here's a guy locked up. Do you want to save him? Or do you want to let him free, or do you want to or keep him in there? And it's like, oh well, I don't know. Like one of the options, I let him free. And it's like, oh well, he ran into a monster and died. He probably would have been safer being locked up. So you could die and go back and change that decision to try and get a better ending, because the game actually ends with like a Mass Effect 2 style suicide mission where you and your buddies, depending on your relationship with them and the decisions that you've made, have access to a bunch of tools to try and infiltrate the Chernobyl reactor. And so the decisions that you made will impact, like, okay, how do we get through the security system? How do we like get rid of the guards? Do we like have like a password? Like all this kind of stuff. And it's like, and people like straight up will die. And like it will call you out and be like, hey man, you fucked up. You made the wrong choice. You should have done this and this to save this person. Doesn't really matter for the achievements. You can kind of just get through the game and let everyone die. It doesn't really matter. But it felt like a lot of interesting mechanics all kind of thrown together in a way that didn't quite work, unfortunately. And part of that is like a lack of polish. The game is kind of there's not really a lot to it. There's only like 5 enemy types. You go to like the same kind of 6 maps over and over again with slightly different objectives. It kind of obviously was made on like quite a like it's kind of it isn't even quite like a double A game. It's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like an interesting indie because you don't see a lot of like first person indie games because they tend to be quite intensive. But if it's on a sale, I would maybe recommend checking it out. Like the achievements are pretty straightforward. Neo Seeker has a really good guide if you really want to get like the perfect ending and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's interesting, but not like nothing spectacular. And then the last one that I'll touch on is I started the Resident Evil 4 remake. So as part of my Game of the Year list, it's basically this and Alan Wake are the last two things I need to play. And I was going to be like, yeah, I was yesterday thinking about this episode and was like, yeah, I'll just do like a couple of chapters and then I'll just like be like, I'll mention it and then I'll talk more about it next week. Yeah, so I'm at like chapter 12 of 16. I could not stop playing this yesterday. I will have more like I have to do a lot of playthroughs similar to what I talked about Dead Space last week. So I will have more of a take on it probably next week. My initial thoughts are this is a really, really good game. It's really, really well made. But I have played Resident Evil 4 so many fucking times over the years that it's really kind of hard to be excited because I'm like, I know exactly what's coming up. And I'm excited by the changes they've made. Like, for example, the village is very, very similar to the initial game. Like they've made some like small structural changes, but like it almost like there are some parts they just cut out and some parts they've added and moved around and stuff. But it's definitely optimized in a way that's really, really good. The castle is for the most part the same, but I think the castle's probably had maybe the most changes, and I haven't quite made it to the island yet. But the island is quite short, I know. So yeah.
Not to say like not to harp on the game because like the game was received incredibly well. Obviously, Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 4, I think not many would argue that it's one of the greatest games of all time.
For sure.
But Resident Evil 4, it's been rehashed and remade so many times, and obviously this is like a larger scale remake. But Resident Evil and Resident Evil in general, like Resident Evil 4 or even the new remakes or whatever, are fun to play, but I definitely don't know if I would call them fun enough to carry a game where you know what's coming.
Yeah, like that. So that's what like I really enjoyed 3, and I imagine I would enjoy 2 quite a lot because again, the time between when those games came out and when I played them, I never played 2, and I played quite a bit of 3, but playing the remake of 3, I was like, cool. Like a lot of the stuff is like interesting and new to me. Like I don't know exactly what's coming up. I have a rough idea because I know the kind of general structure of the story. But 4, like I played 4 when it came out on the GameCube. I played 4 when it got ported to the 360, and I still have a playthrough I need to do of 4 on the Xbox One version of the port because Capcom just ports the games all the time. And so I was like, I got to the village and I'm like, okay, so I know I need to go here and I need to go to, and then I was like, I'm going to go to the mill and then I'm going to go to the lake. And I'm going to have to go through the fish farm with the explosives. And I'm going to cross the lake and fight Delago. And I need to find the key. And you go back to the church. And then sneak from the church back to... And then I have to go... Yeah, and I'm like... I knew every beat that was coming. And so it's kind of rough to be like...
Again, because it's fun. They're fun. The gameplay is not bad.
It's great.
It's not fun enough to be like, I could play through this game a million times. Yeah,
and so like I really, really enjoy it in terms of like it looks good, it plays really well, like a lot of the improvements are really good. Not a huge fan of the knife durability stuff, but whatever. But it's like I got to like the water room in the castle, which everyone fucking knows is the kind of the big set piece for that. And it's like I got to the maze and I got to like the gallery and the part with the knights and that sort of stuff, and like it's all really cool to see what they've done with it and like the stuff they've cut out and the stuff they've changed. But I'm kind of looking at it as like I very much feel like a fan of a book going to watch a movie about a book, right? Where it's like, I'm interested to see, it's an adaptation. It's like, okay, what have you changed? Like, it's like, what's the same? It's like, I remember that bit. I was like, that bit, that lava bit from the original game where you're on like a big wheel thing. They cut that out. Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. It was kind of out of nowhere. It's like, the sewer section with the invisible dudes. Yeah, they've shortened that down to like a tiny fragment because everyone hated that bit. I was like, okay, yeah, actually, I kind of get it. Like, I basically just got to the bit where you use the liquid nitrogen on the dude and shoot him with the rocket launcher because no one does that fight legit. yeah, so like I am enjoying it. I basically just got up to like, I think about like the minecart part, and so I'm trying to like part of it is like me remembering like okay, I remember the village really really well because I remember playing like that part really sticks out to me. But the castle was a bit more of a mystery because I kind of remember how like the broad strokes, but I know it kind of probably pieces together a little bit differently because it doesn't really connect the same way the village does. And the island I can barely fucking remember. I know there's a part on a truck and there's you got to fight the regenerators, but the rest of it is kind of like a blur to me because I played through it like twice. So you got to play through the game like 5 times for all the achievements anyway. So I'm sure I'll have a much more nuanced take on it probably next week. But I am enjoying it, but I definitely have some caveats, unfortunately. But I don't know if that's more me or if that's just the game. I think that's everything. Anything else you guys want to add, or we're good to move on?
Everyone should play Final Fantasy 11 and join my clans. Guilds.
Don't do it.
So
Don't do it.
No, do it. Just do it. It's a great game. You'll have fun. I swear.
Jesus Christ, that sounds like a threat.
Sounds like a cult.
Yeah, exactly.
Kinda. Yeah.
All right, we'll quickly go through the leaderboards. So we've got some big numbers this week. So Mad Mike Forever has hit 9,105 for this week. Thrash Forever with 12,765. But Warlord Ethan with 98,010.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? That is an insane amount of score for a week.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Someone's having a holiday.
Yeah, apparently.
Trying to beat Martel.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. That's, yeah. Yeah. Char, do you want to go through the completions?
Yeah. In completions, we have Cavaliero 7 with Vimba and Persona 5 Royal.
He finished Persona 5 Royal after it got announced to be leaving. He finished that game in like a week.
Yeah.
It's insane. He's put like 150 hours into that thing.
That's
brings me my Dragon Quest 11.
Yeah.
When that got announced. Yeah.
Yeah. K791998 needs a shorter number name.
Yeah, he did. I think it's 1998.
I know, I'm aware.
Just a lot of numbers.
Completed It Takes Two and GTA Vice City. Alpha D Pills here. Dong.
It's French.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kill It With Fire as well. Shane Firehawk D finished Hoko Life. Lord Mud finished AC Valhalla. Crucible 101 finished DA Inquisition.
Dragon Age, yeah.
Yeah. And Cameron completed AC Mirage. Shadowed Sly completed Overcooked 2. Mm-hmm. Actually, I should say Overcooked.
Overcooked
2, because you added an extra O in there.
I did an extra O.
Yep. And Rapture finished Kill It With Fire.
That's a good list of stuff on there. That Persona 5 Royal was ridiculous. And then, AC Valhalla, I think it was like 8 days worth of play that Lord Mud put into that, which is too long for a fucking video game. All right, well, we've also got the word challenge. So obviously Legacy won it last time, but I've come up with a new game that I'm very curious to see how many people will guess. I've kind of gone with a different tact of clue this time. So the first clue, if you don't know what the word challenge is, basically, I pick a game every month or so, and then you go on our Discord channel and you basically guess what the game is in the word challenge channel. If you get it right, a gift pops up and you win $20 or a code for the game, depending on whatever it is. Huge thanks to Mr. Legacy, who happy to donate his amount for next week, which is great. So the clue for the new game that I've chosen is this game was nominated for multiple IGN Best of awards for the year it was released.
Cool.
Final Fantasy 11.
So I mean, hey, if you put Final Fantasy 11 in the chat, we'll see what happens. But yes, so I won't give you the year that it was released, and I won't tell you how many awards it was nominated for, but it was nominated for more than one.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I might give some more clues in that vein going forward to kind of narrow it down a bit. But
now I'm thinking of all the boxes I have of video games that have like a million awards stamped on them. I hate those boxes.
Yeah, they're terrible.
sometimes they're the only box available for some fucking reason. Like they launch with like a bunch of little signets on it that awarded for this and this. I'm like, you're not even out. I got you day one. How are you already like? How do you already have all these awards?
Was it the Batman Arkham City Game of the Year edition? Has like a 10 out of 10 on the box or whatever. It's like huge. It's so fucking bad.
Yeah,
Can't
stand it.
Yeah, so good luck to everyone. Go and hang out on our Discord. That's where our community is. We ask us for a link, we'll shoot you one, we'll get you in there, have a chat. You can hang out with us in our community, ask questions for the channel, for the podcast. We'll let you know when we're going live. We'll also get in front of you with stuff around boosting and memes and all kinds of shit. There's all like it's the place to be. We've also got our Patreon, patreon.com/HallofGamers. It's a place to find us, give us some money, allow us to pay for the show so we can afford to do things like the Word Challenge, but also like pay for Zoom licensing and for hosting the show and all that kind of stuff, and occasionally equipment when things break. We do have some premium content that we put out there, so I put the before and after shows on there as behind the scenes, and any kind of extra content we do, like movie review stuff, video game movie reviews, or some sort of supplementary podcast stuff or spoiler casts we're going to be doing on there. I am planning on doing a spoiler cast for Starfield to play over the holiday break while we're off. So keep tuned for that. I've got a special guest in mind of someone who's been playing it quite a bit and is very excited to talk about it. But yeah, huge thank you to Lee Howard, Mikhail KV, Natolinator, Mad Lefty, Admiral Awesome, Happy Moogles, Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Pone, Cavaliers 07, Old Mate Clown, Mark B, McLovin Legend, Mace J, and Left for Legacy. Thank you guys. Without you, we would not be able to afford to do the show. And as always, we're doing the show live on Twitch. Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us. Come ask questions, shit posts, all that kind of stuff. We've got, our community members in here. We usually do the show lives on Friday, but we made a special exception for Jake here to get it on a Sunday. So it's been great. So it means we've had a few different community members in here, which is nice. But yeah, again, get on the Discord if you want to figure out when these things are happening. I do also put this show on our YouTube channel, which I always forget to promote. So if you missed the VOD and you want to catch up on the old episodes and you don't want to do just audio, come say hi. And you can basically see our pretty faces. And I edit like a little stinger beginning and end on the end of it and that sort of stuff. And usually the audio is okay. But yeah, that's going to bring us towards the end of the show. Char, have you got anything to promote?
I do art and shit, and it's usually on Twitter or on Instagram under the Char with many names, or on Twitter I think it's the Char has names, because it was too long to fit on Twitter, but it fits with the theme of the thing. And I'm also at Charmandosaurus_X, so you can probably find me under either of any of those on certain social medias. Yeah.
Fantastic. And Jake, what about you?
I've fallen off the planet because work is absorbed my entire life and school. Mm-hmm. So I pretty much just exist in my Discord right now. Achievement Hunter is anonymous, AHA. We have there's links in All Gamers, and vice versa. We have links for them.
Yeah. Check out our partner channel to see get an invite link for that.
Yeah, that's where it is. That's where you'll find me. Just kind of bullshitting these days, having a good time, memeing around, not taking ourselves too seriously. And then we also have another game like Neo here or Matt here with the picture where's Reptar challenge.
I love that. I love that challenge.
Sly keeps sniping the games that are supposed to be impossible, and I'm like, how do you keep doing that? You're absolutely insane, absolute madman. So
that Maple Story thing was like, how the fuck did he know that?
Yeah, no, for sure. When he said Maple Story, I'm like, shit, he's gonna start looking into Maple Story, and he's gonna find the developer of Maple Story, and then he's gonna start looking into their other games, and he's gonna get it for the second week in a row.
He's ruining it for everybody. That's my job. Dude. That's my job, is to ruin it for everyone.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to start pulling even crazier stuff out of my pocket, apparently. But yeah, come check that out. It's fun. It's a good time. Lots of good people in there. We cross-pollinate communities a lot. We say it every time I'm on here. There's a lot of cross-pollination.
Sure. Very incestuous, yeah.
Yes, extremely. I mean, that's really what the premium content is when you get the Patreon.
Yeah.
Massively inbred, exactly. And then for me, you can find me on Neomaster everywhere. I don't really stream or anything, but Neomaster, True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord as always. And that is going to bring us to an end of episode 99. A huge thank you to our community and to Jake and Char for hosting with me this week. We will catch you guys next week for episode 100, where we might have some special guests on if I can wrangle them and if I remember. So don't go in with too high expectations. Catch you later.